What is up, guys? Richard here from Team Astro, and I'm coming at you guys with a deck profile for my Evilswarms. I recently just topped at my locals. I went 4-0 with this deck. I did pretty well. Went up against some decent matches, and I still went 4-0. This deck actually, Evilswarms actually made it to top 32 at YCS Toronto. It obviously wasn't this build, but if anybody's looking to play Evilswarms, this format, because I still think they're still good. Yeah, there's a deck profile for those who wants to make it. Alright, so for monsters, the one Dark Armed, he's really good to get over it, to destroy things that maybe you can't get over, or to just take out back row, or, you know, it's just a really good card in general overall, I think. The one rabbit, I'm sad I went to one, but I can deal with the one rabbit in this deck. I play Emerald for when I had the two rabbits, so I can recycle my heliotropes and go into another rabbit play again. But since that goes to one, then I don't know. And then we got the triple caster. He's pretty standard, so you can go into your Ophion and get your Pandemic and all of that. So yeah, and then we have 3 Kyrkion. Kyrkion's good because it's good graveyard control, so you can get out your Dark Armed or set yourself up for other plays, like maybe you need to compulse something, or maybe if you want to go into your Ouroboros or set up for other plays, or maybe get in an OTK, because Evilswarms can OTK if you probably have already a monster on board and you have a couple of monsters in the graveyard already. Say if you already went into your Ophion, then yeah, you can fairly go into an OTK. Next we have 3 Heliotrope, pretty standard. It's a good 1950 beater that can get over most cards like Ryo or anything else that's 1900, or Card Trooper. And yeah, it's just a really good card in my opinion for vanilla. And you got 3 Thunderbirds. Thunderbird's good so you can avoid destruction effects or effects that you don't want to happen, to save your Thunderbird. And say, let's say if you have a Thunderbird and a Heliotrope or a Kyrkion in your hand, you could just summon Thunderbird. They try to do something to get over it. You could just banish it and then come back next turn. It'll also be 1950. And then you could just summon your Kyrkion and then like go into your Ophion or anything else. So yeah, it's just good if you don't have Caster or like Mandragora in your hand. So that way you can like save yourself and go into an Exceed next turn. And then the 3 Mandragora. Mandragora is good to say if there's a deck that spams, like say, I don't know, Blackwings or like Mermules. You can spam this, so that way you can like I said again, if let's say if you have this and probably like a Heliotrope in your hand or something like that, you could special it, then get your normal summon, and then you go for an Exceed play. Or it's just good to like spam the field to get some damage in, or go for other Exceed plays. So yeah, that's the monster lineup, and go into the spells. The one Allure, it's good for to get into your draws, and then everything in the deck is a dark. So yeah, you could just banish it. Well, everything except the rabbit is a dark, so you could just like banish your one dark. You have no problem like getting cards to banish, so you can get into your other cards, so you can go to other plays. Rhoda, pretty standard, so you can get your caster if you don't already have it in your hand. 2 Dress. A lot of people recommend Lance, only because for Dress, the ruling with Dress with cards like Fiendish Chain or stuff that already targets cards, the ruling kind of like permits that, so Dress can be, it's not as good before the ruling was, you know, made. But it's good for stuff that doesn't target, like say if you went through your Pandemics or you don't have a Pandemic, you can just drop Dress if they like try to Torrential or Bottomless or whatever. And or it could save yourself from like a Bear or Blaster if you know what deck they're running, or if you're anticipating the play, you could just drop this and then they kind of screwed themselves over. They wasted a couple of cards. Next we have 3 Pandemic, also pretty standard. Some people like to play 2, but I like to have my monsters protected, because since heavy's gone, this is probably going to be a back row heavy format. So running 3 pandemics, in my opinion, is really good. So you can, like, you know, save all your monsters. Also, the same thing with playing 3 Thunderbird too. Like it's going to be back row heavy, or, like, you know, you could just save yourself from getting screwed. Then the 1 Dark Hole, because Dark Hole's good. It's actually good if you pair this up with Pandemic. That way you can, like, almost Raigeki your own opponent and then save your own monsters from getting destroyed. So yeah, it's pretty good. I play 2 MSTs since Heavy's gone. I think 1 MST is too little, 3 MSTs is too much, could clog up the hand a little bit, and I think 2 is just perfect. So yeah, I recommend 2 MSTs. The 1 Infection, you don't need it anymore. I run the Key Beetle lock, so with Safe Zone or Infection, if you want to save your Infestation Infection from getting MST'd or something like that, or getting destroyed, so you can recycle your cards more if you need to, then yeah, the 1 Infection is just fine. And then Torrential and Compulse. I don't run Bottomless in here, only because 1, it's too many traps, and 2, it's not really needed. Like, what for, like, this format, I think Compulse and Torrential is good, because I think, in my opinion, they're more reactive. Like, Compulse, it just, like, returns 1 to hand, and then Torrential just, like, totally, like, bombs their field. I think pretty much just Compulse and Torrential just do a lot more damage than just Bottomless, because Bottomless just, like, takes out 1 card, and Torrential is good to take out multiple, like decks that, like, spam a lot, and then Compulse is good, so, like, if they need to go into a big play, you could just Compulse it, and then they get screwed. Alright, for other traps, I play 2 Deep Prison. Deep Prison's good to get rid of probably, like, rogue decks that get screwed when their monsters get banished. So yeah, this card's really good, Deep Prison, in my opinion. I play the 1 Dark Bribe. I think I like to call it, like, my personal tech. Well, I think I have, like, 1 to 2 personal techs in here. Only last format I did not run Judgment, so this is kind of like my replacement for Judgment, since you know, all my other cards got hit, like everything went to 1, and Heavy and Reborn got banned. So I play the 1 Dark Bribe. This actually helped me win a game against, I believe it was Glads. It was Glads. Somebody they tried to War Cherry my Ophion, and then I just Dark Bribed it. I mean, they get the +1, but sometimes they just need that 1 card for their 1 play, and if they don't really draw into something good, then they're kind of screwed from there. So Dark Bribe, actually, I think it wins games. It helps. And then I play 1 Warning, pretty obvious, because a lot of decks nowadays special summon a lot, especially those Dragon Plants. They synchro up and they go for a lot of spam synchro plays, so yeah, Warning's pretty good. 2 Mirror Force, just in case if I don't have my Torrential or my Compulse or any of my other, like, traps that get rid of monsters. It's good to run 2 Mirror Force just so you can get rid of them, because not many decks I think can really stop it. Like, at my locals, I went up against Constellars. They didn't go into Omega, because the player I was running, I was playing against, he ran a lot of hate against my Evilswarms. He ran Consecrated Light and Flying Sea and all that. So, and he misplayed by keeping Consecrated Light in attack mode, and then he tried to attack me directly. I just Mirror Forced and destroyed his monsters, and then he just got screwed from there. So yeah, that was actually his misplay. Next, we got 2 Breakthrough Skill. Breakthrough Skill is just good. I always debate choosing this card over Veiler, because Veiler is a hand trap and it's not easily, like, negated. Like, let's say if you set your Breakthrough and then it gets MST during end phase, then you're kind of screwed. But Breakthrough, I think, is only a little bit better because it just has that monster negation twice in 1 card. Once when it's on board, when you have a back row presence, and when it's in the grave. So yeah. And the last two traps I play is the XC Reborn and Safe Zone. Safe Zone, like I said, for the Key Beetle lock. I'm not sure if I want to put this at 2 yet. I think it's fine at 1 because I topped. So I just want to experiment with this, see how well I would do, and I did pretty well. So I may or might not put a Safe Zone at 2. And then the XC Reborn, I only play 2 Ophion. And just in case, if I can't get into all my search cards, or if, like, say my Ophion gets Veilered a lot or whatever, and it gets destroyed, I can use it for an Exceed Reborn, and then just it just helps a lot. So yeah, that's the main deck, I believe. Yeah, it's the main deck. And then we have the extra deck. All right, so 2 Ophion. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's the core. It's the heart and soul of the deck, in my opinion. Only because you could search out for your infection, then recycle cards for your Corycions, and then search out for your pandemics. So yeah. And then 1 Ouroboros. I think Ouroboros is a good situational card. Like if you can't get over something, or if you're facing a deck that Ophion isn't like really all that helpful in, you could just go into this. And then you could just like compulse a card, or if let's say if you're playing Black Wings and they add a Colute to your hand, you could just use its effect and then discard a card from your hand. And then if they lose a Colute, or you drop something that they have that's good, like an Icarus attack or something, I don't know, then yeah, Ouroboros is a really good card for situational situations. And then 1 Bahamut. I used to play 2, but I only need 1, just in case if there's those decks like Sam's where they have Xian, and you can't save your monsters with Pandemic because Xian could just negate it unless you have multiple copies in your hand. You could just use Bahamut and take their Xian or any other card like or if you face like Battling Boxes, for example. I'm just naming like rogue decks that I really wouldn't say aren't really meta, but there's always people out there that are running those decks. So yeah, this is good. It's like a big eye, except it can attack. So yeah, it's kind of dirty, set up for dirty plays. 1 Nightmare for the mirror match and against Constellars. So if they go into like say Pleiades or Omega, you could just like book it, or if they go into their Ophion, you could just book it, and they won't get their Pandemic or Infection or whatever they're going for. So yeah, it's pretty good. Plus it's 1950 defense, so rarely any regular monster, like effect monster, that you come across couldn't really get over this. Unless it's like Fire Fist and they're running like, Tensen or a bunch of spell back row that boosts them up. I have the 1 Emerald just in case I need to recycle my monsters. Kind of like Ouroboros. It's kind of a situational card. Just in case, say if I already go through all my Heliotropes and I haven't drawn to my rabbit yet, or if I have a rabbit in hand, I could just probably go into this and then recycle all my Heliotropes, and then I get to +1 after that. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then next turn you can go off with your rabbit play, and then yeah. So yeah, it's not the best card to go into, but it's good to get that free plus, and it's kind of like my only Pot of Avarice. I mean, I didn't run Pot of Avarice before it got banned, but it's like it's a good recycle card, in my opinion. 1 Master Key Beetle. Card's really good for the Master Key Beetle lock. If you have Ophion and Safe Zone equipped to Ophion, and then you bring out Master Key Beetle and then target Safe Zone, Ophion just lives forever. So yeah, Master Key Beetle's pretty good in this deck. I might put it at 2, I'm not sure yet. Cowboy, it's good because it wins games. Just in case if you can't get that OTK in, because me, personally, I'm an aggressive player, so I try to go in for the most damage, like, all at once. I mean, I don't play recklessly, but if it's, like, the right time, I try to go in for, like, the most damage I can. And then, if I can't make a game, then I could just go in this and then burn them for the last bit of life points, so yeah. Cowboy wins games. The one Dweller against Dark Worlds and Mermails, you know, decks that will rely on their graveyard a lot, completely screws them over for getting their plays off, and yeah, Dweller is really good. The one Black Ship, it's good if, like, for stall decks, like if decks that try to go into Zen Mains or Maestro, you could just bring this out, and then it doesn't destroy, it sends it, plus they take 1,000 burn, so yeah, it's pretty good. I have one Utopia. This was a Shockmaster, but since it got banned, I had to find something else just for a filler for the time being. So yeah, Utopia. He's still good. Negates attacks. 25k. So yeah, it's pretty good. The one Maestro, just in case I need to go on the defensive, or if I could just... it's probably good, ideally good in a mirror match. Say if you don't have Nightmare on board, and then you can't really get over Ophion. You could just get Maestro, Book a Moon it, and then attack over it, because it's 1650 defense. So yeah. Crazy Box, this is going to be my Eradicator target for decks that run heavy spells. Like, I believe Fire Fist, they should run heavy spells. Well, like on their field anyway. And against Prophecies, because, you know, Prophecies, like, the giant portion of their deck is all spells, so yeah. One Gemini Pearl, another card for the mirror match, just so I can get over Ophion with the extra 50, just in case. And it's just a good generic rank 4, 2600 attack. Yeah, it's pretty good. I play the one King of the Feral Imps. Last format, I had the combo where you can, if they go first turn Draco Sack, you could just go King of Feral Imps, search out for Reptilion Vasky, tribute the token, special summon Vasky, and then effect to pop Draco Sack, and then you could just, and plus Vasky can still attack, so that's like, what, a good 4900 damage you could just get in there first turn. Unless they have Breakthrough or Veiler or anything, then yeah. I might take this out and put in either a Diamond Direwolf if I can get one. So yeah, if anybody has Diamond Direwolf, definitely PM me. Or probably another Ophion, I'm not sure yet. But I'm really looking for a Diamond Direwolf first. That's like my main priority. So yeah, that wraps up the extra deck. And then got the side deck. Got 2 Drone Lock Birds. It's good against Prophecy and decks that like search out a lot. Like Evilswarm. I wouldn't probably use this in the mirror match because it kind of screws you over too, somewhat. So yeah, mainly Prophecy, so they can get their effects to search for other spellbook cards and add them to their hand, so it completely screws them over and makes them relatively slow. Next I got the 2 Maxi. Maxi is just overall a good card, especially with all decks that just spam. I think in general, last format and this format, it's still good. So yeah, play 2 Maxi. The one Ryo for it's just a good 19 beater, and it's kind of like, say, your placement if you don't draw into your drone lock, or for like specific decks that you don't need drone lock for but you know, just to stop them from adding cards to their hand. And it's a good effect when you contribute itself to negate the summon of a monster, so yeah. For traps, got the 2 Light Imprisoning for agents and Constellars mainly. When I went up against my Constellar player, this completely screwed him over. Because of this, I managed to 2-0 him. So yeah, Light Imprisoning is just too good. 2 Imperial Iron Wall. This card is good against dragons, or somewhat in the mirror match and against Constellars, because, you know, they go into Karikion and Sombre. They can't really get their effects off. But it kind of hurts you too, so you gotta be cautious how you use this card and when you use it. But for the most part, it's really good against Prophecy and E-Dragons, because, you know, Spellbook of Eternity and Priestess and all that, that banishing retrieving effect kind of stops them off. And then same thing with the adult dragons, they can't really get their effects, nor can they be banished at all. So yeah. The one Eradicator for Prophecy, and use it with Crazy Bucks as my Eradicator target, so that way I can slow down a lot of decks. or you can use it for traps. It's kind of like a heavy storm at the same time, so that way it kind of stops back row from occurring. So that way I don't have anything to worry about. Deck Devastation Virus, mainly for Madolche, because everything, I believe, I haven't played Madolches that much. I played them at times, and what I know of that is under 1500 is like Magdalene and Messagelato and all of those cards. So yeah, Deck Devi is still good for this format because a lot of people at my locals also run Madolche too. So yeah. The two overworked for Fire Fist and maybe Constellars. I wouldn't really recommend to side this against Constellars because I mean they have costs and then they have Bear, but the main threat is really Pleiades and having them to get out Pleiades. But I would recommend this mainly for Fire Fist only because Gaioku and what was that other card? Tenki and Tensu, Tensen. It just like completely like destroys Fire Fist, especially because they could spam the field quite a bit. So yeah, shuts them down. The one Mind Drain for decks that use cards mainly in their hand, like it stops people's Veiler. I don't run any hand traps obviously in the main deck, so yeah, this doesn't really affect me unless I side this along with my maxis, like say I'm facing dragons. So yeah, selectively play smart, and if you side this card in for something along with maxis, then you might want to be selective with how you use Mind Drain. So yeah, and it stops prophecies. No, it stops E-Dragons, my bad. For the most part, E-Dragons, not prophecies. So yeah. And then for my last card on my side, I have the one MST, just in case, just that extra MST to get rid of back row. And yeah, this is just a good side. Well, I wouldn't main 3 though, only 2. 2's good, but just in case. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile for my Evilswarms. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it's relatively long, but I try to pace myself and go through all of the different types of combos and give explanations why I have these specific cards to use. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Oh, one more thing. For those of you who commented on my teammate Christian's Evilswarm deck profile, just to give an FYI, we didn't know that the traps like Reborn, Heavy, Torrential, Bottomless, Compulse were all going to be at 1. So it would be a great deal to acknowledge that and understand that we didn't know that those cards specifically was going to be banned and hit. It actually came as a surprise to us, especially Judgment to me personally. I don't know. I mean, it wins games, yeah, but I don't know. This is just probably me, but I don't think Solemn Judgment doesn't really see play. I don't know, but that's just my locals. So yeah, don't give him hate. He didn't know. We were all surprised by the ban list. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed my deck profile, guys. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Richard from Team Astral out.